in the 2010s, obviously Power Girl. I know a lot of people know you guys from that. That was kind of
Yeah.
my big introduction years ago in the 2000s, like to you guys' work as more of a tandem. But
Right.
2010s, we saw this absolute explosion of Harley Quinn, right?
Yeah.
And you guys facilitated that Uber. I know when it first launched, it was uber successful with like even the rebirth. You guys were doing some stuff with before then, obviously, but that rebirth stuff was massive. I remember so vividly at the time. So what was it like, obviously, because at the time when she's also explode. You had Suicide Squad thing going on, all of that stuff, and she's exploding amongst normies in kind of pop culture while you guys were handling her. So how was that bit? Because how many issues did that rebirth run? Like,
Well, we did the original Harley series, and then Rebirth started, but we didn't redo the book. We just made believe it was the
right?
next issue, and then Rebirth. We've done 100 and I want to say maybe 110 or
It's
12
crazy, man.
books,
Yeah.
Harley books. When when we were offered the gig, Dan DiDio offered us the gig. We were at a retailer convention, and one of the retailers was talking to me and Dan and a couple other people, and he said, you're Harley Quinn. You don't do anything with Harley Quinn. She's like the Deadpool for DC. Why don't you do anything with the character? And Dan just turned to me and said, "You want to do maybe you and Amanda do Harley Quinn?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I said, let me go home and ask Amanda." And I went home and we looked. We knew Harley Quinn obviously from Paul Dini and Bruce Timm stuff, but we didn't read the last series, and we knew it from the cartoons. And the more I looked at her, I said to Amanda, I said, "Yeah," I said that the problem I have with the character is like it's a Batman universe character, meaning there's Batman and then there's the characters around them. And I said, the issue I have if we're gonna write a book called Harley Quinn is I needed to get her out of Gotham. I need to get her away from Batman. She's got to be her own person, because I couldn't answer these two simple questions. What do they want? What does the character want? What does the character fear? And it wasn't clear to me. And we researched the characters. We read online what people liked about, what they didn't like. We read some back issues that didn't make sense, and then we read, the stuff like there was stuff where she was out of character. And again, I worked on the Injustice game, so I knew the Harley from that game, which is a completely different
Yeah.
version.
Yeah.
Um, but we found that what Paul Dini and Bruce Timm created was like, all right, we get that. That's a girl from Brooklyn, from Canarsie in Brooklyn. She gets wrapped up in this stuff. But at this point, I said, if we're going to write it, we told Dan, I said, we're going to write it. We're going to do what we want with the character. And he said, look, it's probably not going to last more than 6 or 7 issues. So just have fun. I'm like, okay. And Amanda and I decided we needed to get her out of Gotham. So we had to move to Brooklyn, Coney Island. We decided that, I didn't want to do a book about Joker and Harley because we're never going to get to know her with him around. So we made them break up. I said, it's hard to write. I don't want to write a book about an abusive relationship every issue. And so we got her out of that relationship. And then Amanda was looking at the costume and saying, no girl wears the same costume. So no girl wears the same clothing all the time. So Amanda started doing some different designs. And the first issue cover is the roller derby cover because Amanda was just drawing it and she said, she looks like she has like a roller derby almost. And we started laughing. I said, let's put her in a roller derby. And then, and then we did the Zero issue, which was, 20 different artists soliciting for the job of drawing Harley. That was like a joke thing we did that worked out really well. But we just decided to, okay, we're going to do a book where you're going to get to know who she is. And it's not going to be about Batman and the Joker. It's going to be about Harley Quinn, and we're also going to give her her own supporting cast,
Okay.
meaning the people that are in the burlesque, her parents, whatever we could in that world. And then we have Ivy visit once in a while and everything. So we just decided that, well, we're going to make a book about the character and less about the Gotham universe and the Batman characters. And nobody on earth thought that thing was going to do what it did. I mean, all of a sudden we hit on a couple of things, obviously getting her out of the abusive relationship. All of a sudden, her like part-time work at a senior's home, and she's got these crazy supporting cast that lives for her, instead of being a Batman runoff or a villain. And we hit on something that basically I always say, if you give the right people the room to do whatever they want, they're going to do it. And we had Chad Hardin drawing the book with us, and Chad was just amazing. And we told him every time she's in a different situation, you can mess with the costume. Just keep the red and the black and the diamonds somewhere.
Yeah.
And we didn't know we were going to cause a giant cosplay sensation.
Yeah,
all of a sudden,
that was crazy.
I think it was the first year we went to do San Diego, and there's like 1 million people dressed as Harley Quinn, and they're all different types of, oh, this is my Harley Quinn goth thing, and this is my Harley Quinn doctor's uniform. This is my so it was just that we were hitting all the right chords with people, and then we started noticing we had an audience of moms and teenage girls coming up for signings and saying they read the book together. And and we're like, we've never seen that audience in comics that much.
Yeah.
And so it just kept going from there. And we hung on as hard as we could for 5 years. I mean, we were averaging 2 to 3 books a month.
Yeah.
And after the 5 years, we figured we need a break from the character for a while. But it was a good 5 years. I mean, at one point, it was the #1 Halloween costume in the United States.
Yeah.
They announced do a Suicide Squad, and we go to the premiere and meet Margot Robbie and the cast, and and then they announced an animated show kind of based on it, and it's just been it was a real crazy ride, and for us it was probably the easiest comic to write because we didn't do crossovers with the other books, and we also told Dan we don't want the character appearing in other comics. We want to keep it to our books. And he started saying, but we need to have some specials. And I said, all right, we'll do Harley's Little Black Book. And we did Harley Quinn Invades San Diego. We did these specials on the side. That was to keep them from overusing the character in other books. Because we knew the minute they do that, the character's in trouble. And then we left the book after 5 years, and she appears in every book. And
yeah, she's in everything. Yeah.
And she's back in Gotham. But our run was unique. I mean, they made 3 omnibuses, and if anybody wants to check out almost all of the books we did, those 3 omnibuses cover it,
There you go. That's what's up. I mean, yeah, again, seeing that character explode in the 2010s was, I mean, it became like this sort of cultural phenomenon, and it was crazy to watch. So thanks for watching. Be sure to head over to Rippaverse.com to check out our comic book company. We have books, plenty of merchandise, and even some glorious animations from Rippaverse Studios. Next up, possibly our most anticipated book thus far, Yaira.